Hey everyone, me Kevin here with a quick stimulus package update and new press release from Mitch McConnell. But first, timing. We're now expecting the next stimulus package to be voted on no earlier than July 20th and no later than July 31st, with a lot of pressure coming by July 31st with the expiration of unemployment benefits. This would likely mean that any stimulus check wouldn't arrive to us until probably the first 2 weeks of August at the earliest, if we got another round of $1,200 stimulus checks approved. And now this makes sense, as it would come right before any potential, knock on wood, it doesn't happen, but any potential second wave, and we would want our economy to be as strong as possible before that potential, and it would come before the election. You'd still have kind of checks trickling out up and through the election probably, so it could be an interesting election move, this delay in timing. But anyway, it would also come after June's unemployment data comes in, which, remember, unemployment data always comes out the first week of the next month. So June's data will come out the first week of July, and we know that folks like Kevin Hassett and Larry Kudlow say, you know what, we want to wait and see. We're all kind of sick of the wait and see line. Also, remember that Congress is on recess in July from about July 3rd to July 20th, and there are no indicators that they've thought about canceling recess. How dare someone take away recess? Second, we know that Donald Trump is looking for a payroll tax cut in addition to additional stimulus. Remember here, if you're feeling left out because you're on Social Security, retirement, or disability, I do believe that the focus on a payroll tax cut or a back-to-work credit is sort of a response to the unemployment pay, and I do still imagine the $1,200 stimulus check is coming even for those of us on retirement or disability. But let's now take a look at Mitch McConnell's press release. Mitch McConnell, the leader of the Republican-controlled Senate, seemed to join in with Donald Trump on his attacks on expert predictions and applauded some of the past work that they've done, like the CARES Act and PPP flexibility. Remember, a lot of Republicans right now are kind of slamming experts and economists as having favored the left's approach too much. For example, if you watch Fox News, a lot of them are gathering around saying, oh, you know, the left said the world was ending. Guess they were wrong. The experts were wrong. It's kind of just an interesting way to start a press release because it just shows more and more of that Democrat versus Republican infighting. There's also a lot of drama right now over this line at the bottom of the employment report. I read the entire employment report. Let me just make this very fast because look how boring this looks. This literally looks like it came through a fax machine and they have the little tear off paper on the side. Like, they could make this look a little prettier. But I want your take on this. Right here they say, however, there were also a large number of workers who were classified as employed. So they were counted as employed, but they were actually technically absent from work. And so they see this as a potential misclassification error. And they actually say that if this misclassification error didn't occur, the actual unemployment rate would have been 3% higher than reported, which means the unemployment rate would have shot up. Now, they did here, and I don't know if they're doing this to cover themselves, but they did here say, on a not seasonally adjusted basis. And so there is a belief that possibly if they seasonally adjusted that 3%, however they do it with their magic 8-ball or whatever it is they do, then maybe there wouldn't have been that big of a difference anyway. But this is interesting that they're actually saying, hey, look, yeah, there may have been some misclassifications, but we're not going to change the data. And this is where I think politics really comes in. It's like, wait, you're not changing the data because of politics, or you're not changing the data because it doesn't really make a difference? And that, I think, is the big question there, right? Because at the bottom they have this note here, to maintain data integrity, no, sudden actions are being taken to reclassify survey responses. That's the very last line. So I'm kind of interested, what do you think? Are they doing this because it wouldn't have made a statistical difference? Or are they doing this because of politics? I guess we'll see next month, which is kind of annoying, but it'll be interesting to see how this ends up actually getting revised next month. Quick note before we get to what Mitch McConnell says, make sure to go to the link down below and get your 2 free stocks with Webull and sign up for life insurance, and even consider checking out the courses that I have linked down below. I go live 5 times per week to personally help you with any questions that you have. Remember, if you deposit $100 with Webull, you get 2 free stocks worth up to $1,400. Life insurance in as little as 5 minutes, and check out those courses. But anyway, back to Mitch McConnell and his press release. Remember, if you're a business owner or even if you're self-employed, if you haven't applied for the PPP yet, I highly highly encourage you to check out Kabbage.com. I'm not sponsored by them. I just found them to be extremely easy to use and fast. But keep in mind, because I've read some of you in the comments as well say, hey, Kevin, I tried Kabbage and it wasn't for me. That happens, so don't get discouraged. I'd recommend you go to PayPal, go to Intuit. If you don't have the perfect payroll forms that they say you need, apply anyway, and apply with your bank statements and letters of explanation. You can make these things work, and remember, the law says that the lenders, like the people who work at PayPal, Intuit, or Kabbage, they're required to work with you. They're required to basically figure out how can we get you the loan rather than how can we deny you, which is like the opposite of what happens in real estate investing. In real estate investing, like I'm going through some refinances right now, and I'll tell you, it literally seems like they want to deny you no matter what. Anyway, the second page of Mitch McConnell's press release gives us some more insights, albeit cloudy insights because, well, he's a politician, and I think he's trying to balance giving us an update with negotiating with the Democrats and whatever. This was the most important line, and we'll pull it up here in a second, but let me just read it. As Senate Republicans have made clear for weeks, future efforts must be laser focused on helping schools reopen safely in the fall, helping Americans continue to get back to work on the job, and helping employers reopen and grow. We must keep the wind in our sails, not slam the brakes with left-wing policies that would make rehiring even harder and the recovery more challenging. So this is how I understand this, because this is like, I feel like I'm reading like some Shakespeare here or something like that, where it's like, all right, kids, let's go to the top line. And what do they mean by this word? Okay, here's that last page of the press release. Here's the scoop. When I hear schools and jobs, I get it. We need to have schools open for people to go to work. Makes total sense. But there are also young kids that can't go to school yet. So we keep in mind things like daycare. In other words, for a lot of people to actually be able to go to work, they need to be able to have a daycare, which means the daycare has to be open and people need money. Money can come in the form of stimulus, which we have not heard them bag on or say negative things on. No indication in this press release at all that the $1,200 stimulus check is a no-go. So this sort of reiterates that. Then we've got reopening. Well, the PPP helps businesses and employers reopen, right? But it does not help businesses grow. What helps businesses grow? Stimulus, which could, again, in my opinion, be the $1,200 stimulus checks. It doesn't help as much as I think we need, but it's good that the things he's saying do not indicate no $1,200 stimulus checks, right? And I want to be very realistic with this. I'm not trying to create false hope. I'm looking at this word by word and thinking, I mean, this makes sense. However, a problem we have here is with this left-wing policies, because that could imply, left-wing policies could be stimulus, right? But he clarifies that by saying that would make rehiring even harder and therefore the recovery more challenging. Well, that is a direct slam on the $600 pandemic unemployment assistance, which we already know that they feel that way, but it does not, with his clarification again, it does not slam the $1,200. So this is, I think, a very reasonable distillation. Let me know what you think down below. And remember, folks, I really appreciate you being a part of my videos. Feel free to comment down below. I make sure to read all of your comments. Check out the programs in the links down below for learning finance and real estate investing, stock investing, and of course, get your life insurance and 2 free stocks with Webull. Folks, thank you so much for watching this video. We'll see you soon.